Hey, this is Red Band coming to you live from Death Squad Studios for a new episode of Pointless. Here's your host, Kevin Pereira.
Oh my God! It's a Pointless bonus episode! That is so good. That is Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows. I'll say that without the awkward nasally accent. Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows, otherwise known as Drugs. If you're a Craig Owens fan, or if you bought a MacBook from him in his Twitter scam that cost fans thousands of dollars that he had to apologize for or go to jail for.
What happened?
This guy, Craig Owens, is an incredibly talented musician, also a huge drug addict. What were the odds? Believe it or not, these two things can combine in the music industry. And he apparently tried to scam people on Twitter by saying, hey man, I got all these laptops. They're really good, like MacBooks, and I'm selling them for like $200, $300 a pop. So if you guys want to buy one, go for it. There were no laptops. Oh. So I think he scammed, so it goes, thousands of dollars. I'm not that up on this story. I vaguely remember from reading it. I think that's unfortunate. I mean, there's videos of him vomiting on stage, apparently from a little thing called heroin. Wow. I say he's vomiting raw talent on the stage. And if Bieber can do it, so can Craig fucking Owens. I think he has an amazing voice. He's a great songwriter. And I hope that everything I'm saying about the alleged drug use is absolutely wrong, an internet rumor. I don't think it is. But I hope it is, because he's incredibly talented. And he's been in band like Dance Gavin Dance. I think he's part of Vials and Glaciers, which is sort of supergroup, or The Sound of Animals Fighting. He's in one of those. Point is, very talented guy. Don't buy a fucking laptop from him. Wow. But check out that band there, Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows. Really, really good stuff. Really good aggressive rock. With that said, hello, Brian. How are you, sir?
Good. I'm not sick anymore.
Did you get Vegas flu?
I had avian flu.
Oh, my God. I had it as well.
Avian flu.
Avian flu is the worst, man.
Yeah, it sucks because I don't know if you remember, I had really bad strep throat the week before. The day I was feeling better, went to Vegas. Got back from Vegas, went right back into being sick again.
Well, did you crawl into a stripper's asshole and that's where you got the flu? Or?
No, but I was, fucking every night, raging, partying. Right. We had some comedy shows. You went to one of them.
I did. I went to the Naughty Show where you had a very, very funny set.
Thanks, man.
It was really, really great. I have not seen you do stand-up before, and that was very entertaining.
Yeah, that was fun.
Really good show.
And we went there. April was there. And
April O'Neil was there.
One of my favorite things was somebody, I think it was Sam, was on stage and was like, who wants to win a dildo? Because he was giving out vibrators. Who will
flashlights, dildos, vibrators.
Yeah. And I think he said, somebody flash him, they'll win a vibrator. But he said, and if anyone wants to flash me their asshole or something like that. But she stands up.
Yeah, it was like first person to show me their butthole wins a prize.
Yeah.
And I couldn't undo my belt buckle fast enough. April, lightning quick.
Like 3 seconds. Like spread eagle, just showing everybody in the club her asshole. It was a beautiful girl.
God
beautiful.
bless her.
Yeah.
I had a blast with her and her friends in Vegas. That was fun. Also saw Doug Benson work the stripper pole.
Yeah.
Not something I thought I would see.
Yeah.
And who closed that night? Who was the sort of the last comedian that went on during the Naughty Show?
Jason Rouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very specific set, this Jason Rouse, but he killed it.
Yeah.
He came out and grabbed that audience by the throat and then fisted them until they cried tears of joy.
Yeah, there's not many comics that I want to tour with, and he's one of them just because our humor is both... We're really dirty comics, and he takes it to the next level.
I thought he was beating me up. Like, I really felt like I was hit in the face with a chair or a bar stool by the time that was over. Like, he cracked a cue across my forehead.
Yeah.
It was rough, and it takes a very specific crowd or a specific show to appreciate that kind of comedy.
Right.
But I was fully on board for it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that was a fun time, man. You got to come to more of these Naughty shows.
I really want to. I want to, and I'm here for it. But I caught the flu as well.
How bad was yours?
Flew from Vegas. My girlfriend, Bria Grant, I talked about her movie last time I was here, Best Friends Forever. It premiered at Slam Dance. Wow. And so I flew right from Vegas after a week of debauchery with cops at the SHOT Show in Vegas. I should talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
The SHOT Show is fucking weird.
It's a gun show, right?
It's Comic-Con for cops. Wow. It is a gun show, but just like, at Comic-Con they have your artist alley and whatever, here it's like you can go find the crazy knife guys that got a 3-point Bowie sling harness for your camo knife. You can find guys that are selling better glow-in-the-dark night sights, guys that sell training vests that shock you if you get shot with a laser, guys that sell assault rifles or whatever. But being there at the same time that President Obama was going on television to announce stricter gun control laws and assault rifle bans was fucking bizarre. Now, most of the people there, law enforcement, actually really cool guys. So I had great conversations with them, surprisingly level-headed, especially when it came to gun control. A lot of them were like, you know what? There really isn't a need to have a 15-round magazine if you're hunting water fucking buffalo. Right. There's really no point in having that. And so they were very balanced with certain things. But at one point, I saw Ted Nugent walking through the aisle screaming, and people are holding up like, I'm extreme righty and no Obama, bumper stickers, and screaming like, grab your guns because he's coming for them. And that was really odd to me because I had a conversation with a couple different people, and I was like, I feel like most of the booths here are selling fear of their fellow man. And that's really what it was. It's sort of like a lot of these guys are going around, and some people love hunting. Love it. And I get it. I get hunting. I'm a fan. Some people like going to the range and shooting their guns. I get that as well. I own several guns. I enjoy shooting them. I'm not against gun ownership. But there's a subset, and it's more than I'd like to admit, that I saw there, that they were just buying things predicated on fear of their fellow man. You never know when that guy's going to snap. So you need a holster in your Durango. Wow. I need quick access under my 12-disc CD changer, and here you can get it, and blah, blah, blah. If you're at a movie theater, here's a perfect concealed carry in your pocket. You could hide it under the popcorn bucket. Like, wow. Left and right, just selling fear. And what's so odd is that some of these guys were vehemently opposed to any sort of stricter regulation on guns, and I'll get to why I kind of agree with them in a second. They were just so protective over their right to bear these arms because they're so afraid of everybody else. And I'm like, you realize that when you fight for your right to have that gun, you're ostensibly fighting for the people you're afraid of to be armed to the teeth as well. Right. These sociopaths that you think are running out there, you're basically saying they deserve to get access to guns at gun shows without a background check or without a mental health checkup. Yeah. Like, why is it easier to get an assault rifle at a gun show than it is in some states to adopt a fucking Labrador? Like, they do in-home checks to have a certain breed of dog if you're going to adopt. They come and they suss out your apartment, make sure you don't have loose wires everywhere, and then you don't have anything that's hazardous, and yet you could go get a fucking assault rifle without a background check in some places. So that was weird to me. But what was also crazy was this one booth that I saw, Slide Fire. These guys have made a mounting system where you can get basically an assault rifle. By the way, I want to apologize to Matt Higbee. He's waiting on the line. He is the creative director of PlanetSide 2, basically the lead designer of the game. I'm very excited to talk about it, but I haven't had a chance to shoot the shit with you, and I got to tell the SHOT Show stuff. So this company, Slidefire, they have videos online. They basically make these attachments for assault rifles, and what they do is they take the natural recoil of the gun and allow that to sort of cock my terminologies, I'm going to get beat up for this, to allow it to sort of put the next round in the chamber and fire it automatically if you hold the trigger down. So what they've basically done is circumvented automatic weaponry, like automatic fire, an auto rifle. They've gone around the laws so that it's California legal. If you apply a certain amount of pressure on the barrel of the gun while you're depress the trigger, it will automatically fire through rounds. And they even have attachments that you can get for them where you pop it in and it will do chain-fed or belt-fed ammunition. So you could be a fucking one-man Rambo. Wow. You can be your own militia. And when I saw that, I realized, you know what? All the regulation in the world doesn't fucking matter, because where there's a will, there's a way. Just like digital DRM, just like putting an extra copyright protection on a movie file. A hacker's going to figure out how to remove that shit, and gun nuts have figured out how to get around the regulations. Wow. And when I saw that, I realized it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. Very, very weird show to be at. Very weird to see some of that stuff. I mean, I had a blast. I had a great time with my brother and his friends up in Fairfield PD. What's up, Fairfield PD?
What?
In the house, breaking into on your ass. That's not their motto at all, and they don't talk like that, and I'm sorry. But really, really great dudes. And I really enjoyed going around from booth to booth and seeing all that shit. But man, it was a little weird seeing that kind of stuff there. It really was. But they had a cool booth. Slidefire check out their stuff, man. I even tweeted that. I was like, this is bizarre. But again, fear of fellow man is a weird thing to base your business off of, but I guess fear really sells, so go for it. So that was that. But then I flew to Slam Dance, landed, and immediately broke out in a flop sweat. And I spent my entire Colorado, where's Park City?
Yeah,
Park City, Utah? Yeah. Spent my entire Utah trip in a hotel room, wrapped in blankets. I mean, I was like the hot dog at a convenience store, like at a 7-Eleven, just rotating in my own sweat.
Oh, so
for
you
4 days
you had
in
the
bed.
Sweat, you had the diarrhea, you had the vomit.
No diarrhea, no vomit. Just
No?
pure sweat coming out of the pores. Felt miserable and had to miss everything.
Wow, that
had to miss it all. Got to see the premiere of the movie and then got to go back to the room to fucking hate life for a week. So I'm glad to be
How was
back.
the movie? The movie premiere
It
went
did
well?
really well.
Oh, that's great.
It did really well.
that's
Everybody's like, you're not going to get offers at Slam Dance. And they've got some offers.
That's great.
So, yeah, I'm really, really proud of her. If you haven't seen it, again, go to Best Friends Forever Film, I believe, or Google, Bing, Ask Jeeves, Dogpile it. Do what you got to do. Alta Vista that shit. And check out Best Friends Forever Film. It's a great trailer, and the movie is hopefully coming to a theater and or VOD service near you. So you're back. You're healthy. You're good.
Yeah, I'm fine now. I'm about to go back to Vegas this weekend though with Rogan, so I'm sure I'm going to go.
Don't destroy yourself again, man.
I know. I'm
Take it
trying.
easy.
I'm trying. You know, actually, I've been switching because I drink a lot now because I've been doing comedy so much, and when you hang out at a comedy club, so I've been trying to switch back to beer now because I went on this Jack Daniel's rant for 8 months, and so now like last night I drank like 6 beers. I didn't even get drunk, so it's like
what's
I
the point?
broke it.
That's empty carbs, my friend. That's what we say. How dare you?
Do you drink a lot?
I don't.
No,
I really don't. I did in Vegas, which is probably why my body was like, bring on the super flu.
Right.
Let's do it because I was in fucking Vegas. So I played some craps and I drank quite a bit, but I don't really like drinking all that much anymore.
You know, every person that was in Vegas with us or that weekend, everyone got sick.
Yeah.
Everyone I know was sick. That's crazy.
Terrible.
Like fucking, we almost lost Burt Reynolds the other day. He was sick with the flu, and he was in the hospital. And like
his mustache should be like a natural ShamWow, like a filter for all disease that he is inhaling. His mustache should take it and strangle it.
Yeah, I guess he was beyond. He didn't have any water in his system and dehydrated or whatever. And it was touch and go for a while. That's how bad it was.
But he's okay. We got our Reynolds
He's okay
back?
now. Yeah, he's all back.
I believe in Bert. You know what I would rather do than drink? Smoke a smoke.
That's
And
what I'm
that
talking
brings us to this little gadget here. Full disclosure, I emailed the folks at Plume, this company out of San Francisco, Ploom. I emailed them and said, hey, would you send me one of these bad boys so I can review it? And they did. No money has exchanged hands, but they did send me this unit to review. And with that said, here it is. And man, if Apple made a fucking vaporizer,
I'm jealous of you.
look at this thing.
I want this.
It's gorgeous. Hopefully they'll send you another one, send another one that I can give to you and maybe one to Rogan. But here it is, right in the palm of your hand, handheld vaporizer, gorgeous design. I'm going to say it's made of single cylinder of unobtainium.
It looks like a nano almost.
Here it is. I'm gonna turn it on, and here's how you do it. You press at the top, mouthpiece comes out, device turns on. It's got a little LED indicator here that will flash, let you know that it's warming up right now. You can also shake it, and it's got a little device inside that will tell you what the battery is. Right now it's blinking green, letting you know, okay, the battery's good. You pack your smoking tobacco.
So you could put either
into the bottom of this bad
tobacco
boy.
or oils in it.
No, I think you can
anything?
do. I think you can do hash and weed. I'm
Hash
not
and weed.
100%. Or tobacco. I'm saying.
tobacco.
Whatever your loose leaf substance that you want to smoke out of a fucking vaporizer is, you stoner. You pack it into the bottom, pack it nice and tight. You press. It takes about 30 seconds to warm up. You will be able to smell it a little bit, and the device will get a little warm. Not like, oh, you're gonna scald your hand and you want to sue them like McDonald's coffee warm, but it's already good to go, buddy. Yeah, if you want it. So it's heating up right now, but in about 30 seconds, you're good to go. You take a nice slow draw from it, and it works. It just works, and it's sexy. It comes with a nice charging station. It'll last for, depending upon what temperature setting you have, you can pop the mouthpiece out and actually change it from low to medium or high. I've been burning on medium, and I get about a day's use out of it before I have to even be concerned about charging it, which is good. Here you can go. It's green. You can give it a little smell test.
What's the
See that it's ready.
what's the charging port? Actually,
So
is it a mini?
they actually give you, I didn't put it in the box, but they actually give you like a little dock, almost like an iPod dock that you plug in. You pop it down on the dock, indicator light will turn on, letting you know what the charging is. And it's sort of like almost, there's a contact on it. It's not quite induction charging, but it feels, look, they designed this right. They spent the time, I'm assuming they spent the money to design it right. You tell me, draws nice and smooth,
Wow,
nice and
nice.
even, right? Good
Very
taste.
nice.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
And that is some very old and very dry tobacco that I packed in there for you, Brian. So the fact that you're saying that that's hitting well is pretty telling. Now,
And you know what? It's not super hot because that's one thing I was wondering, like if it'd be really hot.
Yeah, no, it warms up, which is kind of nice. It lets you
Yeah.
know that it's ready. And then when you're done, now here's the issue. Here's what we're gonna get to. When you're done, you click to shut it off, to close it. Now, notice what mine's doing.
Oh.
I think I have a bum mouthpiece. Now, to be fair, I emailed the guys at Plume. They emailed me right away. And I don't believe that they emailed me right away because they knew I was reviewing it or whatever else. They got back to me right away because they have notorious great customer service, and I believe it's a lifetime warranty on these things.
Oh, cool.
But everybody on Twitter and everybody else has really sung their praises for being great with the customer service. Now, my mouthpiece takes a couple clicks to stay down, and they said I probably had to clean it, which I did, and it didn't entirely solve it, so I think that might be an issue with my unit. With that said, if I had purchased this, I would happily get another one from them, which is something they offered, or live with it. And cleaning, super simple.
Yeah, what's cleaning off?
Pipe cleaner. Okay. You can use an alcohol swab if you want. Make the pipe cleaner wet. You pop out the mouthpiece. Jam the pipe cleaner in. It pops open this drawer at the bottom where you can see here. I'll pull out the bottom here where you have your tobacco stored right through there. It'll pop out an internal screen, and then you just repack, close it, and you're good to go.
That's awesome. Now, how much does this cost?
I think they're $249.
And what's the website? Do you know?
Plume.com, I believe. I apologize to the Plume. It's plume.com. You can head on over there, and you can see they've got like Plume pods that you can smoke in their Model 1, which is more like a pen-based vaporizer, more for traditional smoking. But man, this is the way to do it. And by the way, like, it's sexy. I'm glad that they made like smoking, specifically vaporizing, sexy and cool. It feels futuristic when it's in your hand and you're drawn from it. And I was at one of those King of the Dot rap battle competitions, and I brought it out to review it in the field. Slipped right into a pocket with no problem, and people around me were like, "What the fuck is that space shit that you're smoking? Like, and how does this beam me to another planet?" Highly recommend. Designed out of a company from San Francisco. The company is Plume, Ploom. It's the Pax Vaporizer. I'm going to email them and hopefully get you and Rogan one because I think it's something you guys would like. Yeah. They come in a bunch of different colors, $249.99, great packaging, pipe cleaners and alcohol swabs included, and a great charging station. So if you like vaporization, which I do, I think it's much easier on the lungs. Here it is. It's portable. It's sexy. And I think I've done my due diligence on it. I highly recommend. So that is the Pax by Plume. With that said, it's time to chat fucking video games. I am addicted. I thought that might be a cue for music. It's okay that it wasn't. I didn't talk to you about that. I am addicted to this game right now. I never thought I would say that about a massively multiplayer online first-person shooter, but damn it, they've got me. The game is PlanetSide 2, and I reached out to Matthew Higbee, or Matt Higbee if you're nasty, on Twitter, and he graciously agreed to join us on this little bonus podcast episode. Matt, are you there, good sir?
What up?
There he is. How are you?
What is up? How are you?
Hey, thank you for bearing with me. I know I just chatted for a while about gun rights, porn stars showing their buttholes, and a vaporizer, but that's kind of how things work around these parts.
Yeah, dude, you just encouraged me to make some internet purchases based on your recommendations.
Oh, well, good.
So.
I'm glad. I hope that's the case. I hope they get a handful of orders off that because it actually really is a pretty fucking sweet product. But you, sir, have designed a very sweet product. You have made PlanetSide 2, which has consumed my gaming life. It's made me late for meetings. It's made me skip sex with my girlfriend, and it's made me want to actually pay for a game that is essentially free to play, which is very tough to do. So kudos, good sir.
Thank you.
I want to pick your brain about all this madness. First of all, tell me about yourself, Matt, and how you got involved with PlanetSide 2. You've been with SOE for a minute now, haven't you?
I've been here a long ass time, dude. I've been at SOE for almost 12 years.
For those who don't know, SOE, Sony Online Entertainment. So 12 years, that's a great run. What were some of the other games and projects that you worked on?
Well, I first started out here in QA. I basically dropped out of college because I was doing nothing but playing video games. So I packed all my shit into a car and drove out here and knocked on the door. And they gave me a job in QA.
You showed up like a wet kitten just begging for a saucer of milk, scratching the door.
With my purple Dodge Avenger. In the parking lot saying, "Can you guys please give me a $10 an hour job?"
I love it. Yeah. So Q&A is, for those who don't know, that is essentially the gaming industry internship, right? I mean, it's paid, but that's like the PA. That is the bottom of the totem pole. You're going to scratch your way up it.
Exactly. It's like the cliche mailroom, starting in the mailroom of old school corporate America, right?
But you did it, and you stuck it through, and then what came next?
Yeah, I worked on, the first thing that I did design-wise is I went and I worked on Star Wars Galaxies, and I did like the most bullshit kind of basic design work you can do. I dressed up NPCs so they looked like guards and politicians and things like that.
Really? Like you would figure out what badges and belts they should be wearing?
I had to color their pants and make sure, man, it was really exciting work.
That's great.
So I did that for a couple months, and then I came back to San Diego and started working on EverQuest 2. Had a lot of fun working on EQ2. And from there, I moved on. And I've worked on lots of games here.
I was in the Legion of Antioch in EverQuest 1. I had a paladin, a bard. I would sit in the corner in the town square and practice my songs while watching TV in the other room.
Nice.
What happened?
Practice twisting your bard songs?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and eventually I got to a decent enough level where I could kite all sorts of monsters back to town and piss off entire servers. I know that there's another EverQuest in the pipeline, and they say that they're going to sort of break all the MMO conventions. But what happened with EQ2? Were you just was the entire industry just blindsided by Blizzard?
I think in a huge way that's true. EQ2 is still running. I mean, it still has a really dedicated fan base of people who play it.
Sure.
Up until a couple years ago, it was still getting awards for like best role-playing game, like for actual role-playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's still going strong. It's still doing good. But yeah, Blizzard came along, and that's now the 800-pound or 8 million pound gorilla, I guess.
Right, yeah, the 800-pound orc in the room swinging away. Well, I remember the first PlanetSide came out, and I think I want to say that I tried it and it felt sluggish and something else, and I just kind of put it away and I went, well, okay, that was a bold experiment, but okay, that's the end of that franchise. I was really surprised when I heard that it was coming back. So pardon my ignorance. I don't know. Maybe PlanetSide 1 was ultra successful, but I was surprised to hear that 2 was being released, and I sort of wrote it off based off of my experience with 1. What happened with PlanetSide 2? When were you put on the team? Did you work on 1 and they said, hey, let's make a 2, let's make it happen? Was it more successful than I'm aware of?
So PlanetSide 1 ended up having a really passionate, enduring fan base, a group of people that played it religiously for years and years and years. And I always like to say that people who fell in love with that style of game, with that kind of massive combat, persistent, gigantic battle FPS game, if you fell in love with that in 2003, well, you were fucked until PlanetSide 2 came out.
Right.
So we've always had this really awesome community of players who loved that type of game because nothing else came along to scratch that itch for them for so long.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know that I had this itch to scratch until PlanetSide 2 came along and showed me where my ticklish spot was. And now I'm like a Labrador just kicking at my own ear. You guys got me.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of screwed now, right? Because now you can see what the potential of this kind of genre can be, and it's hard for you to go back to playing a game where you're fighting 16 on 16 or 32 on 32.
Right.
It really is tough, and that's how a lot of these PlanetSide 1 players felt for years and years and years, is there was just nothing else out there that really gave them the gameplay experience that they wanted.
I found that it is very hard to go back to, okay, we're going to push the cart in Team Fortress 2, and we push the cart and the map is over, and now we'll scramble the teams and start again. We're going to roll again, because now when I load up a PlanetSide 2 match, I get my friends together, we get our giant squad together, and then we go, well, do we want to go fight along with the other hundreds of people that are running around right now, or do we want to go capture our own base like a rogue unit? Like, the options seem crazy more expansive than they do on a traditional first-person shooter closed map or closed board environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think they both have their pluses and their minuses, right? I obviously really love the massive scale. I like personally the idea of teamwork on a massive scale, being able to work together with hundreds of people to achieve these kind of huge objectives is something that you don't really get that experience anywhere else in the world unless you're part of the real military, actually doing real military type movements. And for me, that's a really cool thing. And I end up talking to a lot of people who were in the military who play PlanetSide 2, and they say, you know what, this is the coolest thing because there's no place else in the world that you can have this type of teamwork experience where you're coordinating across hundreds of guys working together on one objective.
Right. Those are some of my favorite moments in the game, when we're trying to capture a base and then we get a chat that comes across asking for all squads to come to some chemical facility or a medical lab because it's being overrun right now. And we say, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to all hop in some giant flying, machine and get on over there and bomb them? Or do we want to take our own individual tanks and drive them over? Or should we equip ourselves in these max mech suits and just go in and fire rockets blindly? How do you want to approach this? Like, those are the moments that stand out because they seem like they're in the moment and of the moment. You never know when they're going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And one of the hallmarks of PlanetSide 2 is we wanted it to be a game that was completely defined by the players, right? Mm-hmm. There's not any PvE elements in the game, really. It's all 100% PvP. That means each time you're attacking something, it's going to be slightly different. Each time you're defending something, it's going to be slightly different. That just makes the game all that more dynamic, and it's competitive because of that too. And I think all those things kind of all contribute to the appeal.
Well, let me get some of the salty out of the way, because I've given some of the sweet, but I do got to get some of the salty out, which is somebody said, you got to try PlanetSide 2, man. It's free to play. Just download the damn thing. It's a couple gigs. Get it out of the way, and then you're going to have a blast. And I immediately was thrown into the world. I was tweeting about it, like as I was doing it. And I was like, this is the weirdest futuristic death simulator I've ever played in my life. I was thrown into it. I fancy myself a decent first-person shooter player. I've been playing for years, and I was really confused. I felt like there was a lot going on. The map alone, there was all these blinking colors and icons, and I couldn't find my friends. And I felt like I was getting sniped left and right. And we chat on Skype when we play, and it was like we had this notion of, well, this is clearly free to play, pay to win, and the guys that are killing us, clearly they spent money, so F this game and that's it. And I walked away from it. And I was not planning on going back until, thank God, my friend Sean Poole said, you got to just give it 5 minutes and go around with somebody who's played it, and you will get everything that there is to get within that 5 minutes. And I couldn't imagine, thankfully I did. And as I said now, I couldn't be more addicted. But as a designer, as the creative director, tell me, that must be just a huge hurdle to say, we have this huge, massive game. We have all of these rules. We have all of these vehicles and weapons and classes at your disposal. There's all these different ways to play it. And we could give you 5 hours of a guided tutorial, or just throw you into the shit so you experience a huge firefight right off the bat. I mean, tell me, is that an incredibly difficult line to walk?
Yeah, it's incredibly challenging. Right now, we're doing a shit job of it, to be honest. We don't do a very good job of ingratiating new players into the game, and lots of people have basically the exact same experience that you're describing. So that's something that we have on our radar as a area for a lot of improvement to be able to be made. And we're going to be working on those kind of improvements over the course of the next couple months. But what you said, I think, is absolutely one of our objectives too. We wanted you to jump into the game and immediately kind of be in the thick of it, be right in the shit from the very get-go and see the massive scale of the game, just so that people who were kind of curious, like, what's this all about, could at least get to see the premier feature of the game, which is this massive scope and this massive scale. So that's why we kind of drop pod you right in the middle of a big fight. But then, yeah, you just get curb stomped by some asshole who happened to have been walking by, and that's kind of a rough way to get into a game.
Here's a level 0 guy looking around trying to figure out his key bindings. I'm going to shoot him in the face a couple times.
Yeah,
and that was my experience.
Nowadays gamers are this is going to sound like an asshole thing to say, but gamers these days are really spoiled, right? They have there's always an easy way for you to learn the game. They never have to think very hard about how do I play this game, or what do I do better? And if they ever have to think very hard, that's considered a negative nowadays.
Right.
So
where's
it's a huge challenge for us to make the game be approachable, but still as massive and as open-ended as it is. It's a tough line to walk.
Well, let's take a step back and talk about that, because for those who don't know, I mean, how do you coalesce what PlanetSide 2 is in a tweet? Like, what's the elevator pitch on the game for those who have never played it? Maybe they're hearing about it for the first time. What's the pitch?
Do you want the really practiced pitch?
Yeah, I'd love that. Give me the PR thing, and let's put on the PR voice and adjust the invisible tie, and let's hear what you would say. What would make PR happy?
We got my tie on. All right, so PlanetSide 2 is a massively multiplayer first-person shooter. It is a game that allows thousands of players to directly and simultaneously compete with one another in massive land combat using vehicles and infantry weapons, as well as air combat across several enormous 64 square kilometer persistent maps where the landscape is ever changing and the fight never ends.
Now that was a PR answer, sir. That was good. And that did communicate essentially the essence of the game. And then, as you said, showing off the big feature, which is when you fire this game up and it drop pods you into the middle of the shit. That is when you have these holy hell moments. Like, I love Battlefield. I like my Call of Duties. I really enjoy Team Fortress. But man, when you are dropped into the middle of a base being captured and you see 15 airships flying around shooting rockets at each other, when you see 20 tanks roving around all firing away, there's a bunch of ground units going into a building to try and take it over, there's snipers, there's cloaked dudes that are infiltrating, there's turrets, all this shit is going on around you, and you realize it's happening not just at the base you're at, but at the base next to you and at all the bases around you. That's when you realize, holy hell, this is a different experience.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things, like you mentioned, Battlefield and Call of Duty, I think one of the things that those games do really admirably is atmospherically, they make it seem like you're in the middle of these big fights with cutscenes and having fighter jets fly over when you complete an objective or something. But in PlanetSide 2, all those fucking planes flying over you and tanks that are driving by are players, you know?
Right.
Those dudes are out to kill you and you're out to kill them, and you can actually interact with them. They're not just like some bullshit cutscene.
Yeah, they are real 16-year-olds in the middle of a wood-paneled basement fired up with their machines, and they're going to fuck you up and then teabag you repeatedly, and it's going to happen. And part of the thing I had to be okay with was that is okay. That this was one of those games where I was like, I'm not immediately dominating the map. What the fuck? Clearly this game is broken, versus taking a step back, watching a couple YouTube videos, reading up a little bit about how to properly play as my class. I typically roll a medic in this game, and really sit back and go, oh, okay, I need to approach this game differently than I approach other first-person shooters. The same core mechanics are there. The gunplay feels very satisfying. Kudos to your sound designer, by the way. The rockets fucking sound real. The footsteps outside of a tank will give me chills sometimes because I know someone's dropping mines on me. You really have nailed it. Like, it is a top-tier AAA quality shooter, but you cannot approach it like you do every other game, or else you're going to get slammed.
Yeah, I mean, it really, honest to God, requires teamwork. I don't know if you have yet, but for those of you guys who are hearing about this game for the first time and not having checked it out yet, there's different teamwork structures in the game. There's squads, which are sort of like a group from an MMO, but we also have outfits, which are persistent teams that you can join that have their own voice over IP servers within the game. They have their own leadership structures within the game. And you really need to join one of these groups because that's where you get to start experiencing the game on a more strategic level. Like, yeah, you're the foot soldier running around getting kills and being a badass, but once you're part of one of these big groups, then you're part of an air wing or a tank wing or a medic corps that's actually running around supporting a huge army pressing across the map. And that's an experience that you just don't get anywhere else in games.
Yeah, I not a night goes by that I haven't fired this up, got my friends together, and we're mostly playing on the squad level now, but we do like to see where the massive units are moving, and sometimes we'll align our squad with them. And there's really nothing better than rolling up to a base knowing that you've got hundreds of other real players with you that are unleashing metal hell on the enemy, knowing that in about 5 minutes, we're going to overrun this entire fucking base. We're going to take out their shield generators. We're going to launch mortars into there. We are going to wipe them the hell off of this map and hold down this base. And there's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like it that I've played. I can't say it enough about the game. And what really makes it interesting is the model here. Like I said, when I first started playing this, I was like, well, this is free to play and it must be pay to win. And what I found was actually no. You can play it. You can play it seriously. You can earn enough certs, which is sort of an in-game currency where you can unlock new scopes for your guns or new armor for your tank or new abilities for vehicles and whatnot. You can really kick back and play it and earn these things to unlock that. And yeah, if you want to earn them a little faster, you can pay a couple bucks. Can you talk a little bit about designing the game around that market, around that sort of business model?
Well, yeah. I mean, we knew from the very beginning that we wanted to make a competitive shooter. And you can't have a competitive game where you can buy an advantage. It just doesn't work. So we knew we were going to do free-to-play. Free-to-play allows you to have the kind of player populations in the game that are needed to support a game like this. One of the problems with the original PlanetSide is it just didn't have the player population to really support the game long-term. So with free-to-play, there's not that problem anymore. Anybody who wants to try it out can just jump in and play it.
Give me something to shoot at. Come on, noobs. Hop in.
Exactly, right. And I always like to say that free-to-play players, people who are just playing the game and not giving us a dime, are actually helping us out because they're giving us content, you know? They're giving us content for the guys who are paying. They're not just freeloaders.
You don't have to design the color of their pants, which is always nice. They get to choose their own colored pants, and then I get to kill them.
Well, they get giraffe pants or zebra pants or something like that.
Something that stands out for all the people who pay.
That's right. But we wanted to make sure it was competitive. So we designed the game basically around weapons not being necessarily straight up upgrades to each other, but rather being side grades. So you could get an assault rifle that maybe has a slower fire rate, but each bullet hits for a little bit more damage. That way, situationally, one's better than the other, but they're not just straight up an upgrade where I bought this gun and now I'm going to fucking kill you.
Right.
I can't do anything about it.
You know, I noticed that as well. I say I play medic. It's primarily the class that I spend my certs on and that I would spend my station cash on. And I still use the default gun that came with my medic. I mean, I've upgraded it a little bit through playing the game, but I'm still using that default gun. And I could go buy another weapon. And I think that was interesting that you guys made it so that there is a give and take. It's not like, oh, I have this real world money, I spent it on the game, and now I dominate you. You do have to give a little bit if you're going to take a different weapon or a perceived better weapon.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of versatility maybe that you can get out of unlocking these different weapons. Like maybe all the default weapons are really good for a wide range of different situations. We didn't want you to feel like you had to upgrade, or rather side grade, to be able to get something that's viable. So you have a pretty decent default, but then like maybe you want to have something that's better for close quarters combat. You can unlock those weapons. And the other side of it is that anything that affects gameplay at all, anything that gives you any sort of gameplay advantage, you can unlock through gameplay.
Right.
So there's not just a weapon that you can only buy with station cash that's just this fucking kick-ass gun, or even it's just a different gun. Anything that touches gameplay is unlocked through gameplay. The only things that are sold exclusively for station cash, which is the in-game currency, are cosmetic items and boosts, things that give you experience a little bit faster.
Sure.
But nothing that actually makes you any better at like blowing some dude's face off.
Right. It just might get you to those upgrades a little bit faster, but anybody can get that even with the free-to-play model.
That's right. Yep.
Now, can you talk numbers at all? Can you say how many players you have playing versus how many have actually given you, even for a month membership or purchase some station cash? Like, is it viewed as a successful title within the SOE family?
I mean, so far it's doing really, really well. I can't give out any numbers, but I mean, the percentages that we're getting coming in, the people who are playing and sticking with the game, or playing the game and paying for it, is very, very, very good.
People are happy,
really
and
happy with it.
You're going to keep the lights on for a little while and be able to release some updates?
Yeah, hopefully. We just released a 6-month plan, basically saying, here's all the things we're going to be working on for the next 6 months. So we're kind of committed to at least getting 6 months worth of more stuff done.
I like that. Well, what do you have in mind? I mean, obviously that new player experience is something you want to tweak. I'm sure that was one of those, hey, we got to ship the fucking game, guys. We'll figure out how to get people into it at some point. But I'm sure that's part of the plan. But what else do you have coming up in the next few months?
Well, we're adding a whole bunch of new game systems that kind of add more depth and kind of flesh out the game once you get beyond a certain point. So new players jump in and they love it. They're captivated by the scale, by the scope. The combat feels good. The world is huge. But after a while, they kind of want more strategic goals or the ability to have more longer lasting benefits out of capturing stuff. So we're adding a lot of those kind of mechanics into the game. We're also adding the new player experience that helps out the newest players. But we're doing things like adding new continents to the game, new bases to the game, new weapons. We're going to go through each one of the classes in the game and give them a bunch of new abilities and a bunch of new weapons, so they each have their own sort of refinement pass. Okay. Same thing with vehicles. So there's a huge amount of new content. But one of the coolest things about it is I was mentioning how we have a really awesome community. Well, we've been really into communicating with our community any way that we can, either through Twitter or forums or Reddit or wherever the hell they happen to be, watching the Pointless podcast, wherever these guys are at, we want to be able to talk to them. And so we actually set up our 6-month plan, and we're going to do this beyond our 6-month plan, where we enabled user voting on it, so players can actually vote on the features they think are more important. We've removed 2 things off of our patch for this month based on user feedback from it, and we're going to reevaluate those. So I think that that's a really, like, to me, you asked what we're going to be doing for the next 6 months. I know a lot of it, but I don't know all of it, because a lot of it's going to be coming from our players what they want and what things they want us to be focusing on. Well, that's something that we've really embraced as a company.
Makes perfect sense and a very smart move to listen to a community when your game is predicated and based and lives and dies off the passions and the acceptance of a community. So that makes perfect sense that you would listen to them. How can we organize? Well, let me ask you this. When I go to deploy on my main map, why are some of the spawn points on the main map different from my redeployment screen, which has the smaller map? Why is that, Matt Higbee? It drives me fucking insane. Why is that?
Well, it could be a variety of reasons. Like maybe the spawn point that you wanted to spawn at got recaptured, so it's not available to you anymore.
No.
It could be that the
No,
Sunder that was there got destroyed.
That is not the case, Matt Higbee.
It
That
might be.
Sunderer is there. I'm telling you. I tell my friends I want to spawn at the biolab. I go to the main map. I can't see it there, but if I go to the mini map under redeployment, I could spawn there. Come on, Matt Higbee. Let's fix it. Vote it up on the patch. Come on, man.
I mean, the spawning mechanics are very complicated, but one of the things that we try to do is we try to keep you where you were, so that when you're respawning someplace close to where you died.
Yes,
a big
which I appreciate.
piece of that is trying to keep the fight together, right? We want to keep a fight moving, rather than just having guys respawning all over the fucking map and not having any structure to it.
And there's nothing better than being deployed and having that, from that 10,000-foot view where you're in your pod and you come crashing down onto the environment and you can sort of use your movement keys to guide that pod a little bit. There is nothing more satisfying than being deployed in one of those pods and crashing through an enemy plane or tank on the way down. Damn it, I love that. Thank you, guys. Whoever figured that out, whoever put those 10 lines of code in there, please give him the employee parking spot, the employee of the month spot.
We track how many kills you got with those drop pods too.
I love it. Matt, we got to get you. You got to make the drive. I would love to get you here in studio and have the game fired up and sort of run through it in depth so people can really see the intricacies of what we're talking about, and maybe have like a rival against the Indoor Kids or one of those Nerdist podcasts or whatever. We'll show them who the real gamers are, and we'll get an actual, because I'm on the Death Squad network, but we need an actual Death Squad within PlanetSide running around murdering faces left and right, and I'd love to have you here to guide us through that.
It sounds like you should start an outfit, man. You got the name for it already.
It's done.
You got your Death Squad outfit.
I'll tell you what, if anybody out there, I encourage everybody. By the way, I already got a tweet. Right away, I got a tweet asking, when's it coming out for the Mac? And I know a lot of game developers like to snicker and laugh whenever they think of Mac gaming. But, I own several Mac products in my house as well. Thankfully, I got the Origin Gaming PC. But are there any plans to bring it to a Mac, or is just the market too small to support that kind of development?
I'm in an all Mac household except for my gaming PC, so I feel the pain there for sure.
But it's not in the
we do have
6-month
plans
plan,
for it, but I don't have a date.
Oh,
yet.
really? But it's not
Mac
completely...
compatibility is something that we've talked a lot about, and we are actually going to try to do.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. I mean, I figure it's not in the 6-month plan, but normally it's just a no. So the fact that you guys are even considering it is great.
Anybody who tells you that that's hard to do, it's bullshit. It's really easy to do a Mac conversion. It's just a matter of people wanting to do it.
Well, I would love to see that happen, and if you guys want to kickstart that, I will donate $10 to become a premium backer and happily make that happen.
All right.
I gotta say, this feels so disconnected over Skype, Matt, but I really appreciate you doing this because, again, I have just become so addicted to the game. And again, anybody that's listening to this, if you have a moderately decent gaming PC, I can't say it enough. They need to download PlanetSide 2. It's free to play. Give it 10 minutes. Run around, watch a couple YouTube videos while it's downloading and installing itself and getting all the updates. Watch a couple videos on how to use the maps, where to respawn, and how to play a class. Figure out, do you want to go stealth? Do you want to go crazy heavy assault guy? Do you want to go medic and run support? Do you want to snipe? Figure out what your probable game style is. Watch a video or two on how to actually play it, and give the game 10 minutes. Better if you know somebody who plays it, who can walk you around and do some voice over IP chat and really hold your hand through it, because, man, if you give it time, if you give it a chance, and you will appreciate so much in this game. And I did not think I would ever say that about the PlanetSide franchise. So kudos to you and your team, Matt, because you really have made something that I am addicted to.
Well, we love hearing that. Nothing's better in the world than hearing people enjoying your games. So, hey, what empire are you playing, by the way?
I'm the Red Dudes.
Oh, you're playing Terran Republic?
Yeah, I'm Terran because when I came. Oh, really? Really?
Oh.
Really, Matt Higbee? Why the thumbs down for my Terran? You designed them. You chose their red pants. Oh, fuck you. Fuck, that's right. That's on your Twitter icon. I forgot. I slaughter you bitches left and right with your fancy future weapons. Bullshit. I'll machine gun round your space helmets any days. Oh, man, we forget playing against guys from another podcast. We need to have an SOE versus Death Squad match. That needs to happen, and we're going to put money on the line. We're going to do it for charity. It's going to happen.
Download this tonight.
Oh yeah, dude,
do it.
Brian,
That
you have
sounds
to.
fun.
Matt, also, I'm gonna. This is on the spot, and this is really poor form of me. But can we give out at some point, maybe through Twitter or whatever, give out some codes to people, give them a month membership, or give them a little station cash? We can figure that out at some point. I'd love to be able to give back to the listeners a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Shoot me an email and we can work it out.
You got it. I'd love to do that. Matt, thank you so much for joining. And I'm not kidding. When you're ready to make that drive, let's get you up here. Maybe when the next big patch or big release is coming out, we can stage a nice big battle in here and really show people what this game is all about in real time.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, Matt, I appreciate the time, and I really, really appreciate the work that you've done. PlanetSide 2, what is it, planetside2.com? Is that
PlanetSide2.com.
It's that easy, guys. Don't go to Google and type in PlanetSide 2. Just fucking type in planetside2.com. Put it in the same damn address bar. Don't be that guy that Googles the website they're trying to go to by name. Go there, download it. It's I've got tweets from people already saying they're already downloading it right now. They got some gigs to go, and hopefully, I got a guy, Jimmy Weisenhut says, "That's right, Terran baby, victory is our tradition." I love it.
I think that guy's name is actually Huizenhoont.
Oh my God, is it really?
Huizenhoont.
Huizenhoont? You think he's got
Huizenhoont.
a phlegmy, effeminate foreign name? I think he's
You got to
right.
put some Schutzpah into it.
I think
Huizenhoont.
I think it's Terran all the way, and really, you guys download the damn game, give it a try, give it 10 minutes. I can't say enough about it. I think I just did. Matt Higbee, creative director for PlanetSide 2. Thank you for joining us, Matt. Appreciate the time. Brian, other games that you're playing before we wrap this up? This is sort of the gaming, weed smoking, gun toting. Although somebody was like, "Don't talk about guns, man. You sound vapid." Fuck you, asshole. Like, what does that even mean? I mean, I understand technically what it means, but what part of what I said, what part of understanding that, you know, some regulation is just going to be flawed because of human ingenuity? Oh, one more. You know what's going to drive you fucking insane or really interest you in getting one? Here's the thing. You can get an unlicensed assault rifle in California legally. Here's the thing. I'm going to blow it up right the fuck now. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but there is a website. I think it's 80% lowers or 60% lowers. It's something percent lowers. What they do is they sell the lower portion of the assault rifle, just like the metal body, and it's not complete. You need to get, you know, a grip. You need to get a barrel, all sorts of shit. Gun. This is where, yeah, you're right, dude. I do sound vapid because I really don't know a shit ton about guns. I know how to shoot them, and that's good enough for me. You need to get a bunch of other parts and bolt them on to form your Voltron assault rifle. However, this company sells 80% lowers, which means the lower portion of the gun is 80% complete. To finish off the assault rifle, there you go, there's an AR-15 anodized lower receiver. To finish it off, Brian, you have to use like a milling machine and actually cut out a portion, like a swoop where the magazine would go in or the cartridge would go in. You have to drill like 3 holes that allow like for a trigger lock or trigger pull or something like that. So there is some work to be done, and you need a professional high-end machine to do it. So it's not easy to finish.
You're modding a Nintendo.
However, you can buy an 80% assault rifle AR-15 lower and then go to milling parties where you put your lower on a machine that already has a pattern preset. You push a button, the machine drills it out. But because you pushed the button yourself, you are making the assault rifle. And it is legal to make your own, apparently. And it doesn't have to be serialized or registered. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be once that's done, but it's not serialized or registered just by getting the lower and just by buying all the attachments online.
So this is like a loophole. This is a crazy loophole.
Back to my point of the legislation doesn't fucking matter. There's always a loophole where a will is a way. It doesn't matter if it's DRM or fucking assault rifles. I don't think that's a vapid statement. I've seen it myself. And there it is. Like, you can go to these assault rifle making parties where you throw your 80% lower on a machine, press a button, walk away with something that you can bolt some shit onto and have your own customized AR.
And unless you have a medical marijuana license, and then it's illegal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Then you're on the grid, man. They're only coming for your guns if you like the marijuana. That's how that comes down. Are you playing anything? Have you fired up your Wii U since day one?
No, I did fire it up just to see what was going on. We did this humongous update that I guess dropped, and nothing was. You know, I don't know if I can't figure it out or not, but I can't find all the classic games anymore. Like they used to have all the old NES games.
Yeah,
I don't see them anymore.
Coming soon. I saw like the Wii. Well, no, like the very soon actually, like within the month I think. Like the Wii U arcade is coming out or whatever, and allows you to download all those titles.
So do I have to re-download? Like, because if I have it on my Wii U, I bought like all the Mario games. You have to rebuy it again.
I was reading an article about that the other day. It's like, no, those aren't compatible.
Wow.
Or yeah, I don't think it was. Maybe it was that the saves weren't compatible. Maybe the games are, but because I know you can run the Wii sort of emulator within the Wii U and then load the games from there. You can load your virtual console and download games from there.
Okay.
So that works. But I think the one within the actual Wii U store is different.
Yeah, it's awful. I mostly, I mean, the Netflix is okay because you got this big touch screen remote control, so that's kind of cool.
Right.
But no, I still don't recommend it, and I still can't believe that it's even Nintendo's still in business right now because it's just that bad. But I started playing Skyrim. I was late to that.
Are you liking it?
I love it.
And how do you play it? Do you do the actual quest, or are you one of those guys that just collects all the cheese wheels and puts them in a river and go like, "This is my life"?
Yeah, I collect bottle caps. I try to rob places. I just don't do much. I just try to hack things, and that's how I play. But it's a really good game. It's just I could see myself wasting so much time in it, so I stopped. So I started playing the new Call of Duty, and that was okay. I wasn't really feeling it as much as I've beat every single Call of Duty except this one. I just kind of don't really care for that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the single player at all. It's about the multiplayer. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, look at what are you, a disappointed gamer right now?
I like the single player for Call of Duty. I'm one of the few
Really?
people that like the single player, but this one just doesn't do it for me.
All right. Well, what about this PlanetSide business? Are you going to try to download
That
this
looks
stuff?
cool. I mean, I haven't been doing much gaming, PC gaming, and I have a new Alienware I need to use, but that looks cool. I actually played the first one. I was one of the few people that actually tried to, because I was a first-person shooter fan and I liked the idea of it. But like you said, I played it for like maybe a couple days, and then I was like, it's not the. I forget what I didn't like about it. There was
with PlanetSide. You
the
tried
original
it?
PlanetSide.
Oh, the original. Well, the original I
Yeah.
didn't like either. The original felt clunky. It felt slow. It felt like even though I was shooting at a dude, it still felt like there was a dice roll going on, like any other MMO with like I'm just pressing attack and hoping it hits. Like it didn't feel like that hit detection was there. With this game, when you're shooting at someone, like it feels good. You get good hit detection. You get good feedback. Like it's very satisfying to be driving a fucking tank around and seeing a group of dudes running from a base because you're overrunning it and just launching shells into them and watching their dead bodies fly everywhere. Like it's very satisfying. So I hope you try it out. I hope everybody tries it out.
Yeah.
Aaron Colbert says when the Wii U ones come out, you'll have to pay like $1 to $1.50 to use the classic. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what he said. So there you go.
Wow. What do you think about it's kind of off subject, Star Wars with J.J. Abrams in the new Star Wars?
Yeah, Abrams at the helm. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy.
Oh, you aren't?
This, I did not grow up with them. I was in a household where they existed on VHS, but that was about the extent of it. We'd watch them maybe once, and that's it. So I don't have like a deep-seated love of the franchise, and I tried to watch the latest ones because I was like, well, maybe this will get me back into it. Of course, those movies did not. Those were also for kids, and I am not one of those anymore. In some respects, yes, but not in my movie-loving habits.
Were you a Trekkie?
No, I didn't grow up in a household that either of those franchises were a big deal. So I just didn't gravitate towards them. They weren't in my life. So I like what Abrams did with Star Trek. Like I really, for being a guy who doesn't know much about Star Trek or particularly care about it, I really enjoyed his movie. I don't know if that's a bad thing to Trekkies or Trekkers out there, but I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So if he can bring that back for Star Wars, I'll totally take it because I get the environment, I get the universe, I get the Darth Vaders, I get the Jabbas, I get the Hans. Like, so I'm all for it. I'm excited for it, but I don't have this deep-seated love for the franchise that has me on pins and needles for anything anymore.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know.
A very nuanced and delicate opinion, Brian. Very nuanced. Do you want more blue flares? Is that what you're worried about? Too many blue lens flares coming off their lightsabers?
I was not a fan of the new Star Trek movie. I think
Really?
I think JJ has a problem with endings and shows. Like that one show that just ended, the TV show. I heard he fucked up on that one also. What was the one?
Which was it? Alphas or Bones or Numbers? Or
it was
The
something like
Event,
that. Yeah,
or,
it was one of those shows, and I guess a
Yeah.
lot of people that followed it were really disappointed with the end. I was disappointed with the end with Lost.
But that's the TV side of things. What about the movies? Do you think Star Trek had a bad ending?
I just don't. I don't like any of these new movies that are making everyone look like Twilight. Like sexy Star Trek and sexy Spider-Man. And I'm not a fan of any of that shit. So I don't know why. I can't remember why I didn't like Star Trek. It's been a while, but I did a review of it. It's somewhere on.
Well, hopefully he doesn't go the sparkly vampire route with.
Right.
Hopefully Luke isn't a chiseled Twilight kind of character.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's the Star Wars thing. I just think anything has to be better than the last 3 movies.
Well, and that's sort of like, look, there's nowhere to go but up.
Right.
There really isn't. I mean, in this case,
hopefully, because then you also think about the whole, Disney aspect of it, and then you're like,
Right.
shit, are they going to really focus on Jar Jar again and Ewoks more? Or?
That's true. You got to push those mascots, man.
Right.
They need people there handing out fast passes.
That's right.
How do you feel about G4 still showing AOTS daily, even though it's been canceled? Oh, I was reading that question as it was appearing on the screen. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't watched Attack of the Show since I left.
Yeah.
It's just a weird, I don't want to, I think I said this when Candace and Sarah were here. It's it's sort of like, oh, I broke up with this girl, but I don't want to tune in to see who's fucking her.
Right.
And not specifically Candace and Sarah. I mean, the show in general, it feels weird, like someone else is sleeping with my baby. That was the thing about guest hosts coming in, and I know a lot of the guest hosts that came on, and they're great guys, and I'm hoping they were fun shows for the sake of the audience. I'm all for that, but I have no desire to tune in and see that myself. So I haven't been watching. It feels weird though. I did see a still of the final episode, and it was the whole cast together on the set, and they were hugging, and it was a freeze frame of yay, we're sending this thing off, and I didn't recognize half the people in the photo. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's weird.
Helped create this thing, and I was there for years working with it, and I don't know. I wasn't there. So
I saw Sarah the other day at Porn Star Karaoke. I said hi to her.
Oh, yeah?
But,
Did she sing?
I don't know if you've been to Porn Star Karaoke. I know G4. There's a lot of G4 guys that go there.
Yeah,
but
I think Chris Gore got the bandwagon.
Chris Gore.
Of
I
course
always
he
see
did,
there.
yeah.
But no, I didn't. But that place is so packed. It's like
Where's it at? Dimples or
No, it's at Sardo's in Burbank.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
it's actually tonight. It's actually going on right now.
What are we doing chatting about
What are we
Planetside?
doing?
Let's
What
go
the
sing some fucking Love Shack with some porn stars. First to show me their butthole wins a vibrator.
That's a good place to go though if you live in LA and you just want drunk porn star girls, because they're all the fresh girls. Like I just got into porn. This is the thing to
Right.
do.
Right.
It's just
They're
slut
below
city.
the STD threshold. They've got probably 3 to 4, but they definitely don't have 5+. So get in while the getting's good. Bring your penicillin, kids, and bring your favorite karaoke song. What do you got show-wise coming up, good sir? Let's wrap this bonus episode up.
I'm just going to be touring with Joe the next couple of dates. I think I'm going to be in Vegas this week. Next week we're in Palm City, Florida. Is that right? Palm City. That sounds weird.
Palm something, Florida. That sounds good.
Palm
Yeah.
City, Florida.
The city of palms. Come on out.
Yeah, but we also, we have this free show that we do every week at the Comedy Store. It's every Monday at 8 p.m. It's called The Secret Show.
Yeah, I got to get out to that. I really want to get out to that.
It's fun. It's fun having a podcast that's in front of an audience, because it's almost, and how it's kind of growing, because it's growing into its own thing, but lately it's growing into almost a soap opera of all the comics that hang out at the Comedy Store, and it's getting good. It's pretty funny, man.
You guys getting a little insular with the conversation then, a little inside with what's happening between the comics and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And it's there's a lot of people that hate each other there, and we've been finding that out. Like this one we filmed yesterday, there was almost a huge fight between 2 of the big guys, and there's just so much competition with comics that you never really get to see. So it's really turning into its own thing, and it's free to go to. So it's go to the Comedy Store's website, comedystore.com, and it's every Monday 8 p.m. So yeah,
love it. I want to guest one of those. I want to come on out,
dude. Anytime,
yeah,
please.
I'd really love to. The schedule's been crazy in between the flu and gun shows and everything else, but I'd love to come on out there. So I'll be there. I also want to shout out pointlessforum.com. The guy who's running this tweeted at me, and that's about as much as I know about him, but he's doing the Lord's work over there. If you go to pointlessforum.com, I know there's pointless discussions on Joe Rogan's boards as well, which I check out, and those are going on. But I also kind of like the fact that there's a sort of dedicated thing just for Pointless, and he seems to be running a great board. So pointlessforum.com, you can go over there, discuss this show. I've been diving through threads of what guests would you like to see on here, so I'm paying attention to that.
Kevin Rose?
I would love to have. In fact, Kevin Rose said he would come on this thing. I've neglected to email him a few months back to follow up on that, but I would love to have Kevin Rose on this thing to chat about G4 history, the rise and presumed fall of Dig, even though I'm sure he's still making a ton of money off that, at least off sweatshirt sales. And
this is an old shirt.
Chat about his job at Google, anointing the future of everything.
Yeah, what's he doing at Google?
Yeah, I think he's in charge of one of their VC funds, so he gets to go around and hobnob with new app developers and new technology guys and go, we're going to give you money and make you happen. which is a great fucking gig to have. He's also dating, maybe engaged to a very hot nutritionist, Dario something, Daily Tomato. I don't know what it is.
They drink tea together every night before going to bed.
God, I'm so jealous. How do I get that gig? I just want to. I would just snuggle him in my arms and make him tea each and every night and infuse it with my love and my wishes for him and my dreams.
Is he still doing the show with Alex Albright?
No, they haven't been doing that. Was Dignation, I think. They haven't been doing that for a while. And Totally Rad Show ended too, which was Alex's show on the Revision 3 network. Bummer that.
What happened to
ended as well.
Alex? We should get Alex on it.
I would love to. That's another guest. Why don't you put it in the thread on pointlessforum.com,
right.
Brian? Let's get it in there.
I love Alex.
This has been a long evening for those who haven't listened to both episodes back to back, but we taped this on the same night as Chris Drama Pfaff was here. That was a really fun discussion. If you haven't heard that episode, I think it's episode 10. Go check it out. This was a great bonus episode, chatting guns, porn stars, and of course Planet Side 2. I'm fucking addicted. I think you should give it a try. Play it for a few minutes. You will be addicted to. Please check out shit that I'm doing. Go to supercreative.tv. That's supercreative.tv to check out new shows. I've got a new Machinima series coming out very soon. There might be some more Let's Ask America happening, and another project that's NDA'd, and I know better than talking about them here, because Brian likes to expose my dirty secrets to the world on accident or on purpose.
How'd that go?
Pointlessforum.com. Check it out. And supercreative.tv. Of course, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/KPerera. You already fucking knew that. Thank you guys for listening. Kisses, hugs, belly rubs. That has been another Pointless Podcast. Oh, my God!